Okay, Parker, you ready?
Hoi. Wow.
Okay guys, hello and welcome back to episode 8 of Sir Logeth's World. In this episode, we are going to start on the spawn castle. I know that in a previous video I had mentioned that I would probably talk about the Wither skeleton farm, but long story short, I had problems with audio in my videos and I lost some footage, and then some of it just wasn't the greatest footage. So what I will be showing you guys instead is this overview of how I originally laid out the castle area and then its current state today for the inner castle area, because currently I am a little bit behind, so I've actually worked on stuff outside of the castle walls, but I'll just give you a little tour of the castle itself. So as you guys have been able to see, there is quite a bit of layout. I have it set up so there is an inner castle courtyard and then a town area. The dark oak and stone show where all the buildings are going to go, and then of course I have this pathway. This is the main entrance up into the castle, and I tried to make it that this whole castle area could function like a realistic castle. Castles were defensive structures, and so I wanted it to have that feel, that it wasn't just something, you know, easy to get into, like that it had an actual defensible way. And honestly, I am pretty pleased with the design that I've come up with. So let's go ahead and I will fast forward into the future, into the current time, and I'll go ahead and show you guys this area as it is currently. Guys, so I'm going to go ahead and drink this potion, and then we're going to see how things work out here now. So I'm going to get up nice and high. I have a potion of slow falling going, so you should be able to get... Oh yeah, this is nice. Okay, so you guys can see I've been working on some other stuff outside the castle. Right now I'm going to focus on the inside of the castle here. So we have a church, different buildings within the town. There's stables and warehouse, other things. There's 2 more entrances that I added. One here, it's going to go out down into a dock area. The other one here that leads off towards a quarry, off into the mountains. Coming over here, you guys can see that I have quite a few more buildings on the inner courtyard here. There's different animal pens, some small farms. We have a tournament area here, so there's jousting, swordplay, and then bows. And then as well we have a guardhouse, blacksmith, a barn, stables, and then the castle itself, which is rather large. As you can see, I also added in this extra courtyard behind the castle. I have yet to finish it, but that's going to be open to different ideas because I've been running low on ideas of what to add into the inside of the castle. Another thing that you'll also be able to see is I went ahead and finished the outside wall all the way around and also turned this one into a moat. So when it comes to the actual defensibility of the castle, if we come over here a little bit, if you think about it in a defensive way, this mountain entrance, you have a bridge, is the... Here, let me get around the corner just a little bit more. Anyway, you have a bridge with a drawbridge that they can pull up, so that it's pretty defensible. Same thing with the docks, like there's a very small area that people can actually make it in, so I wouldn't be too worried. As far as the area over here where the main entrance is, that's why this one is so much longer. Like it comes through here, and then you can follow it around and back around here. And as you guys can see, there are walls that overlook it the entire way. The walls have matriculations and crenulations. The matriculations are these little holes underneath, you can kind of see there, that allow someone to fire from above down below. And the crenulations are a way that kind of protect the person down below. So now I'm going to go ahead, and I think that should give you guys a very good compare contrast as to the level of work that's gone in since that last clip that I showed just before this. Have I actually hit the ground yet? Okay. So anyway, let's go ahead and we will go into the castle area, and I'll give you guys more of a tour on the inside of the town area. So this is going to be, well, I guess this part is the town area, so I'll go ahead and give you guys a little tour here first. So first off, coming in the main entrance, you have different shops that go along. There's going to be different themes to each of the shops. And yeah, I know that some of the trades are not, there's not as much of a variety, but they are adding a few more varieties of villagers. So I will make the interior town more appropriate to that. If we go into the church here, and you can see that the church is all done up inside nicely. I guess you can see, we'll probably go ahead and add in a couple of brewing stands so we get some clerics in here, as well as a lectern on the front there, and we'll have a librarian as well in this building. Behind the church, there's a graveyard. I've really tried to pay attention to detail, guys. So there's like, you know, you have a statue there. There's other little things going on here. The walls at certain areas have entrances that go up into the actual wall itself, and they are also defensible. Over here, you can see I still have a few little things that I need to clean up. This is the entrance from the docks, and it goes into a little market area that I'll try and see if I can get some villagers to have their workbenches here as like a smaller market. There are well spaced throughout, and yeah, just quite a variety. In the future, I will be showing most likely of decorating the insides and the actual shop names, so I'm not going to show you guys all the detail here. Just know that there is, like, I went ahead and added in chimneys with fireplaces. I may remove these and put in campfires, because with the campfires it looks like there's not going to be any fire spread. But these buildings, let me go ahead and talk about the building style real quick. So these buildings, you may recognize that it has kind of a medieval flair. Now, most medieval buildings have thinner timber frames with wider rectangles. So I guess I could have done this filled in, you know, gone with wider rectangles, but I just like the look of this, how it was. And so a lot of the medieval buildings, they have these timber frames with like the white rectangles in between. And in the research that I did, Shadiversity, another channel on YouTube, he does a lot of like castle swords, that kind of stuff. But he did a video on why the houses were this way. And it's because of the type of structure, the way the building is made, and it's called wattle and daub. And if you want to look into it more, then you can. Basically, it's just a timber frame with sticks intertwined in mud on the outside, and then they just plaster it to make it look nice. And it was a cheaper way of building that still offered, you know, pretty good insulation and stuff. Anyway, moving into the main castle courtyard now, you can see we have quite a few animals, the farm, this tournament area. Some of these areas, so this would be like an archery range, you can go ahead and shoot at the targets. I want to eventually figure out how to get these set up so they'll light up when you hit them. Don't know how to do that yet. That's going to be something for the future. This area would be like where they'd fight with swords, and then of course the jousting arena. There's like a little king's box and plenty of audience seats. Coming around here, we have a stables. I am not going to include any videos really on the different horses in here. In the most simplistic terms, the ones with diamond armor are the fastest. Gold armor are still pretty fast. The other ones are just kind of in there. I haven't tested all the horses, but they're there. Going on over here, we have a blacksmith shop. There is 2 guardhouses. There's one here, one on the other side of the courtyard actually. Each one of them has one of these little training mannequins. And then if you go inside, then they are decorated inside as well with tables, places where you would eat, as well as armories. So this one, for example, would have what I'd consider a little bit of an armory, and I'll put swords and stuff in there. And also finish out these armor stands, as well as bunk beds. You know, a place where they can all sleep, store their gear, do different things. Going on down through the guardhouse, this guardhouse actually leads down into the dungeon under the castle. It's one of the few entrances into the castle, besides the 2 main gates. This will be another little bit of an armory. I haven't quite finished that. In these rooms, there are places for prisoners to sleep. And then as we wander up through here, there's another entrance to the dungeons. That this one leads up to the kitchen. So this is a storage room here. And we head on up into the kitchen. And there is, you know, a big fireplace to roast stuff. Plenty of ovens for, I don't know, whatever they'd be cooking in the castle, rolls and different kinds of meats and stuff. And then of course plenty of storage. I've worked in a few kitchens, and having a lot of storage, good place to wash dishes, those are pretty huge to the function of the kitchen. Over here we have the servants' quarters, is what I call it. It's where the people that work in the castle would be, you know, sleeping, and they have all their own little touches and everything. Over here we have the feast area. So if you notice, you go straight from the kitchens basically to the area where they would be feasting. In this feast setup currently, everyone has cooked fish. It's just what I had on me. I'll probably go ahead and change some of those later. Through the back of the feast area, there's a library with a small enchanting area over there. And then the library, through a guarded door, you can come down into the vault. And the vault is set up with plenty of different materials as well as diamonds, because you got to have diamonds in your vault, right? So this is where all the riches of the castle would be stored. As we work our way back up out, you go from the feast area on up a level into the ballroom. So this is the big, you know, front entrance, pretty close to the feast area right here. But this is where they would receive a lot of the people. And I went ahead and added in basically a piano, a few seats for where musicians could sit, and you have a conductor just to, you know, play music for the people. As you come in here, there's a secondary entrance that leads into the throne room. And yeah, it's just a nice little throne room for the king and queen of the castle. As we head on upstairs, there's a double staircase here. And this level, there's a balcony to look down into the ballroom. You know, I'd imagine that if they're making announcements or something, it would happen from up there as well. You come up into here and there's a map of the area from above. So you can see it's not quite updated because I actually removed that water there and built out a seawall for the fisherman's bay. So there will be the larger dock areas for large ships that don't need as much protection. This area has been closed off more as a bay for the smaller fishermen. So I'm going to have a smaller fishing village out here. But you can see quite a bit of the area. I'm gonna expand this out because this actually doesn't include all of the castle area yet. Over in here you have guest quarters. Some of them are larger and they have like, this one has like what would be a walk-in closet and a little place to rest, plus the beds and everything. And then we head on up out. If you guys want a full tour, you can just mention it down in the comments. I didn't want this video to be too long. But this is the king's room right here. So in the king's room you have another small library, and then over here the king's bed, you know, triple wide king size, plus all the other little nice things added in. If you come out, you guys may have noticed, it's already nighttime, that there's a tower here. So if you look on down, there's dirt, stone, wood. This is like organic, so different flowers and food and stuff. If you go on up here, then this is like end and nether items, monster drops. Going on up, there's lights, and then some of the other little resources that didn't really have a spot in the other places. Up in this tower, there is a full enchanting room and plenty of storage here. I will update, you know, some of the designs in there as well. Going on back down, I'm going to head over to the other side so you guys can get one last good look at the entire castle area. And I forgot to mention real quick, but some of these other buildings, they are filled in. So like the stables has hay and stuff in it. So there are other details that I'm not really showing here. But anyway, if I head back over to this area, the villager update that is going to be coming out sometime in the near future, it's going to change a lot of things for this entire castle area. So the villager update, basically it changes villagers from being like villages being based on doors to where they're going to have a workstation that is theirs. They're going to have a bed, and they're going to have a place where they go meet and gossip and, you know, town center kind of thing. So that's really going to change the way that I actually put together this entire town. Because before I was really dreading the idea of having to move a bunch of villagers into each one of these buildings and try and sort them out. I'm sure you guys can imagine that's kind of a mess and kind of a hard thing to do. But now that it's going to be based on beds, I can just go ahead and put in workbenches and beds in each of the buildings, and the villagers will sort themselves out. And then of course I can do it in all the areas. So I can do it in here in the town area, I can do it outside of the walls, as well as the interior castle courtyard over here. And you know, there'll be farmers, whatever, they'll just sort themselves out, so that's going to be really nice. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Sir Logeth's World. I will plan on releasing more episodes showing tours of the outside of the castle walls, as well as just let me know down in the comments if you want a fuller tour of all the individual buildings. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time.